November 20th. Got a recording in progress. How's everybody doing today? You're all relaxed a little bit here. Thanksgiving week, it's getting a little cold. So that time of the year where we all hibernate a little bit and think about the year and the season and what it's been for us. Today we're going to have an opportunity to do something a little bit different than we've done through the year so
I
far.
do.
Hi.
Oh my goodness.
Hi, Raj. I think we can hear you as well. It's great to hear you, Raj. From somewhere. He's somewhere in the space.
He's in Cape Cod.
He's in Cape Cod. Well, that's the best place to be. Nice to know that you're there. Yeah, so today is the day that we're going to spend a little bit of time reflecting on where we are as a club through the year. From July 1st to now, I feel that it's been this breathtaking, breathless run of mine to try and keep up with absolutely everything that's going on. And I've been gratified, impressed, inspired, bowled away, awe-inspired by so much of everything that's been happening in the club. And I just thought that today we would spend a little bit of time reflecting on that. And there are a few other things that I want to do today, which are also wonderful and important for us to do. So that's basically the lay of the land. We're going to do a bit of an experiment at the end of the meeting in which I'm going to invite you all to interactively participate in some questions that I'm going to be putting out there. And it's going to be interesting to see how it works both here in this space as well as online. So we'll go for a bit of a ride together. I'm going to start the meeting inviting Byron Banger to join us to give us our reflection for the day, and then we can move on to other things that we have planned for the meeting.
After Elaine invited me to provide a reflection for this day in anticipation of Thanksgiving, I started thinking about some of the themes that I have accented over the years when sermonizing was a regular thing for me to do. Early in my parish ministry, I often turned to a Peanuts cartoon to help illustrate a point that I was trying to make. There's one where Snoopy is pictured in a pensive mood while Charlie Brown and Linus are walking by. And Snoopy says to himself, I wonder why some of us were born dogs and others were born people. Is it pure chance or what is it? Somehow it just doesn't seem fair. Why should I be the lucky one? Perspective makes a difference. How we look at things and especially how we regard our circumstance, subtly and maybe not so subtly, shapes the ways that we think and the ways we act. I've long been taken by the fact that former IU President and Chancellor Herman B. Wells titled his autobiography, Being Lucky. Herman had a long and storied career at IU, unparalleled actually. But I take it that he hardly claimed all the credit. He surely knew that it takes all kinds of other people to make a great institution or an enterprise a success. Guess where I most often encountered Mr. Wells during the time he was chancellor at the university? It was at funeral and memorial services. When he came to pay his respects for those who had taught or had served on staff at Indiana University. He came to express appreciation for what that person had contributed to the life and work for which he was himself so cherished. I believe he knew it was only possible because there were so many others to whom he also owed a debt of gratitude. Which leads me to the main point that I want to make. Gratitude, it seems to me, is born of the recognition that our lives are given to us mostly by others. Or, as billionaire Warren Buffett has publicly acknowledged, being born in the right place, the right time, the right social environment. Which leads me to a second kind of point. In the Western tradition, there are 7 deadly sins, sometimes called the mortal or the cardinal sins. These include envy and lust and greed, but foremost among them is pride. Now, there's some ambiguity about this word pride, as it is often used to refer to self-respect or self-affirmation when it is used to express a sense of group identity or self-worth. A strong sense of self-respect or self-worth is a virtue, as I see it. Think of Black pride or gay pride, for example. But far too often, the word pride is used in a more traditional sense as an inflated overestimate of self, which is to say, among other things, that it stands foursquare in the way of an attitude of gratitude and thanksgiving. So I've made it a point for the past 50 years or so to disavow pride whenever possible. There are 2 or 3 other words that we can readily employ whenever we want to express or speak about how we feel in a positive way. And those words are happy, or grateful, or thankful. So instead of saying, I'm proud of this, or I'm proud of that, one could say, I'm happy to be this, or I'm happy for that. As we do when we have our happy dollars. Thank goodness we don't say proud dollars. After all, whatever we have accomplished, our lives remain mostly the result of our genes and our circumstances, those to which we were born and those which include the contributions of many others along our path. In conclusion, there's a famous saying that most of us have probably heard someplace sometime before, from the late 13th and early 14th century theologian, philosopher, and mystic whom we know as Meister Eckhart. Meister Eckhart said, if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Byron. One of the people who I met many, many years ago is Byron, as I was running the Bloomington Early Music Festival. And to this day, I remember how kind and generous he was during that time. So Byron, it's great to hear from you once again. Thank you so much. Okay. And I'm so grateful, I was just thinking about Byron's remark about what motivates us and how a recognition of gratitude is so much a part of what really drives us. And I have a blessed life that originated in great privilege. And in so many ways, I feel that I've been reckoning with that all the way through the rest of my life. Okay. Birthdays. We have 2 birthdays this week. Bryce Bow and Ron Barnes are both having their birthdays this week. So happy birthday, Ron, and happy birthday, Bryce. Bryce is November 21st. Thank you. Bryce is November 21st and Ron is the 26th, I believe. Good. Anniversaries, Chris Kroll is 4 years. Welcome and congratulations to Chris. And I don't know if we have any guests in the room today. Do we have any guests? Oh, we do. Oh my goodness. Kyla, would you like to introduce our guest? And esteemed future Rotarian in our midst, Lucy Deckard is with us. Great. Lucy, you'll have to tell us what the desserts taste like if they're good enough for you. Are they good? Okay, good. Great, great. Anybody online? Do we have any guests online, Joey?
No guests today, Alon.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. We have a very special ceremony now. We have the first Paul Harris ceremony since I started as president of the club. So I would like to invite Peggy Frisbee and Mike Baker up to the podium to celebrate our moment for us. This is something that I've been thinking about quite a bit actually over the last little while, especially being November, giving month that it is.
Thank you, President Allen. Welcome, Rotarians. You mentioned genes. It made me think of my good friend Michael Wade over here who studies genes. And when he told me that, I thought he meant blue jeans, but he had to clarify that later. It's a different kind of gene. So we'll get into that later. So today we're recognizing two members of our club, one of them on Zoom, Kate Cruikshank, up there on Zoom, and Michael Wade. Into the Rotary International Foundation. This will be their Paul Harris Plus pins today. As most of you know, the Rotary International, well, you're all members, so you probably do know that the foundation is our way of giving globally to a lot of funds through the Rotary International. And Rotary International recognizes an individual for their contributions of $1,000, and they're recognized as a Paul Harris Fellow. So a Paul Harris Fellow Plus is both of these Rotarians' second pin. We'll start with Michael Wade. Michael, if you'd like to come up, please. Kate, I can't see you, but we'll get to you in a minute. Okay, you're on the big screen. Oh, there you are, right in front of me. Michael Wade is on his way to retirement from teaching at Indiana University, maybe. He keeps telling me that. Michael's professor emeritus evolutionary biology, something called theoretical genetics. And after this, I'll be happy to explain what that is to any of you that ask. So he's especially passionate about all things living, especially his flower beetles, and says he loves box turtles almost as much as a nice glass of red wine. Michael's been in our club for 5 years. He says he gives to the Rotary Foundation because it is an exceptional, effective, well-organized charitable organization. And through our many speakers and programs, we all get a better understanding of local and global needs. So Michael, if you come up here, we're going to have Peggy pin you with your second Paul Harris Fellow pin. And I appreciate that you have your first one on, so we'll find room somewhere. Second today is Kate Cruikshank, who has been a member of our club for over 7 years. Kate worked for Indiana University Libraries, I think as an archivist by trade, not an activist. She is passionate about many things, doing good in our community. She's a strong teacher warehouse volunteer. Is currently working to make sense of all of our records that we've had stored at Teachers Warehouse, flags from awards, programs. She's going to try to make sense of all of that. We're happy she found her way to Bloomington from Oakland, California. Since joining our club, Kate has supported our many local projects, and through her giving to the Rotary International, supports good projects around the world. So Kate, congratulations. You'll get your pin and certificate. It'll be dropped off. So at this point, I'd like the members to stand up and recognize these two Paul Harris Plus fellow Rotarians.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Mike. Thank you, Mike. And Mike is such a great supporter of the Paul Harris Fellowship in many, many different ways. And likewise, Peggy Frisbee, I want to thank you for the leadership you serve in the Rotary International Committee, the Rotary International Foundation Committee of this club. It's really great, all the work that you're doing. This past Friday, I was fortunate to go over to Columbus to be with District Governor Lance Everly, who's here with us today. It was the Rotary Foundation Month's celebration. It was a celebration of giving across the district. And I was interested, there were a few really interesting things that happened at that meeting that I want to just quickly report about. Number one, just the reminder that it is still November, which is the giving month for Rotary International. Aubrey Cedar, our first global scholar, was there. We've come to know Aubrey very well. She's Bloomingtonian, did quite amazing work, studied for a master's degree in arts cultural administration at King's College in London, benefiting from that incredible gift of $40,000 from the Rotary Club. And she spoke about how transformational that scholarship really was in her life, her view of the world and her opportunity to connect with the world at large. And so it was just a reminder of how incredibly impactful these gifts that we give to the Rotary International Foundation are. So the Paul Harris Fellowship is at the center of all of that. And I urge all of you to think about what you can do, what you would like to do this year and next and beyond to support that program. It's really, really an important part of what we are as an organization and how we function. And speaking of Paul Harris fellowships, there was a very touching moment in a video that Raj Hadawi recorded for us. I don't know if we've ever actually shown it in one of our club meetings. And so I thought that we would show it today as a reflection both on the power of the Paul Harris Fellowship, but also remarks from Raj Hadawi about why he is a Rotarian. So if we want to set that up and send it to everybody, share it.
I joined the club in 14 when I was in Bloomington, maybe 13 actually, for 2 years. And I was so impressed with them embracing the project I involved in, was called Volunteer in Medicine. They opened for me the stage, spoke about it. And when I finished, they contribute money to the cause. And before I know it, when I opened the door, they invite me to come in, and they gave me an honorary Paul Harris. So I have a Paul Harris honorary from them. I never really bought one yet. So then I contacted them with Winston Shandell, who's serving on our board. And I think I came once or twice. I felt that's where I belong. It is accommodating a group of people. They're working on good causes dear to my heart, and everybody was receptive and didn't cost much money either. 2 years later, I have to come to North Carolina. And of course, our connection stopped until Zoom came up, and no less than a good man, Jim Bright, sent me email. We talk on the phone. He said, it's going to be all Zoom. Come on and join us. So it was about 2 years ago, maybe April or May. I've been another member for, another period member, let's call it this way. I enjoyed the topics. I enjoyed the presentation. I still enjoy everybody, what they're doing and volunteering, contributing. And I was very lucky, like everybody came on board on being on the DEI committee, which is dear to my heart. When I left in Bloomington, there is no mention of it. We just talk behind the scene, but now it is reality. So that is one thing I'm very proud of it. At least I did something worthwhile, established something was not existing before, and hopefully we expand on it.
Good. Well done, Raj. And thank you, Raj, for being everything that you are to this club as well. Really, really very special to have you with us. We hope that you're feeling better. Okay, a little sad news here that I want to just quickly let you know about. You might remember Judge Mark Kellums, who passed away in July. Very sad and very sudden death. And his daughter Katie was with us with her husband Ryan a little while later as we were celebrating his life. We got news just 2 days ago from through Jim that Katie passed away from pneumonia just this past week. So we have Ryan and their children in our thoughts. Okay, that was the sad news. Okay, I'm going to invite Ron Barnes to come up and tell us about Teachers Warehouse and go from there.
Thanks, President Alon. It's kind of hard to follow that. I just want to give you a quick briefing on the successes of Teacher Warehouse this year. So far, we've had over 1,400 shops as close of business yesterday by almost 900 teachers for a value of almost over $250,000. Now, we're not even halfway through the year. And again, this is a time of year where everybody wants to get into your checkbook or your pocket. And I want to just remind you that this is the Stock the Shelves campaign that's going on now. And I placed at the table some Stock the Shelves envelopes. Hopefully you will take it and think about Teachers Warehouse as you think about your contributions this November or end of year. But again, thank you for all your support for Teachers Warehouse. It is thriving thanks to Rotary.
And thank you, Ron, and thanks for your incredible leadership. Looking forward to your leadership next year in about 7 months' time. Yes, very much so. Okay, I'm counting the days. Yeah. Okay, well, we have some things that I'd like to just share to you. I've got a few PowerPoint slides that I'd like to be able to share with you today as we go into talking about our club, its future, imagining Rotary, imagining our club. First of all, I would like to share the success of the toast. So we had this really fabulous event recently. Congratulations to all. Thank you so much to all of you who were there. The year after Charlotte Zietlow had to be something that we could celebrate. And so we were able to gross $50,000, of which expenses were about 21, which means that our net income from the event was 28,743. And Life Designs gets $14,000 of that amount, which is absolutely fabulous. And we get a little bit for the club, thanks to Natalie's wonderful administrative work. And then each of the clubs gets about $4,500. So I just want to give you a round of applause for a very, very, very successful event. We will, as you all know, let's go to our next slide. As you all know, we will be celebrating the toast with all of the members. Gladys Devane, as well as a number of individuals who were involved in producing that event, will be at the toast as an after party, as a way of celebrating the success of the toast. And I want to make sure that you can recognize how much work I put into this graphic. You can see it moves, you see? It's the first time in my life I've been able to create a movable GIF. So, so that's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah. So hopefully that's gonna, I had to do some Googling and then I was able to work out how to do it. So if you ever want to know how to do a movable GIF, you can come and talk to me about it. But please join us on December 8th. I know that Natalie's waiting for names of people who have yet to sign up. And so Natalie, is that okay if they just give you their names today? Yeah, we definitely want to have as many of you there as possible. And obviously this is going to be this opportunity to celebrate with the other two clubs as well. So it's going to feel like a big Rotary celebration just to enjoy the final days of the year. We had a great time with Jim Sims, which is the next slide. Just this past weekend on Sunday, Jim Sims Jim is chair of the DEI committee and doing really fabulous work. And this is now the beginning of a number of meetings that he's planning to have with a diverse group of leaders in Bloomington about the Bloomington Rotary Club, about all three clubs, in fact, but with a focus on our club because of how wonderful we are. The idea of expanding our membership in such a way that it truly reflects this community and where this community might be going. And so I just wanted to have a quick shout out for Jim. He's not with us, but we can certainly give him a round of applause. And thanks for having led that conversation. I was there, Joy was there, and it was really very, very nice to see. We have the ringing of the bells for the Salvation Army coming up. Steve, congratulations. He said it was the hottest ticket in town, and he's absolutely right. This thing went up about 2 weeks ago, and within 2 weeks, we had everybody signed up to ring the bells. So again, thank you all so much for doing this. Coming up in a few weeks' time, I can't remember what the dates are, but they're coming up pretty soon. Yeah. So thank you all for doing that. And then let's talk about, we're going to shift now to Leslie Green, who was going to be here today, but she's not feeling all that well, but she's online. And so maybe what we could do is stop sharing for a second. I think Leslie's got these slides as well. There is a very exciting initiative coming out of the city of Bloomington that we've known about for the last 4 or 5 weeks. And I had to wait until a conversation with our board last Thursday to decide whether or not this was something that we wanted to formally adopt as a club. And the answer was a resounding yes. And I'm sure that you'll agree once Leslie has an opportunity to tell us about this Zero in Bloomington program. I'm certainly going to join. My household is going to join. And so, Leslie, go ahead and share screen and let us know about this new initiative.
Actually, could you go ahead and just share the screen from there?
Sure. Okay, good. So,
Yeah.
Tyler, go ahead and share the screen, and then Leslie's just open your mic and speak.
Okay, thank you. We were approached, the Rotary Club was approached to get involved in this. Kind of started with Carolyn Fry, who's in the Sunrise group. She brought a group of us together. Alon asked me to be our representative for our club, which I was happy to do. But this is a broader activity that the city is doing, that they're trying to enroll quite a number of households into this program. And if you're enrolled, it just means that you agree to participate. There's a login procedure, which I did yesterday. It's not very difficult to go through and answer the questions as part of your getting registered. But we're hoping that this will be a lot of interest for all of you. So let's go ahead and move one more slide. Okay, this is a picture of the website that you can go on. So the way I understand it is the city of Bloomington has joined this larger resource that's going on around the country to get households to enroll and decrease your carbon footprint, basically. So what we're looking for is people to enroll in the program from Rotary. And then if you live inside of the Bloomington city limits, you can actually join the team, which means that all the things that you do in terms of climate action would count toward the team. And there is a lot of teams that will be in the community. So let me just say that again. Anyone can join no matter where you live, because we can have it as a community group. And I joined yesterday as a community group, but we'll have it specifically for Rotary. And then if you're within the city of Bloomington, you could participate in the program where you're actually going to be reporting out some of your success. And all of those things will feed into the system and give us points or something, so that the Bloomington Rotary Club can be seen as being a vital part of committing to climate action. So go ahead and go to the next slide there. So we want to help the city of Bloomington reach the carbon neutral status by 2050. They want residents to think consciously about their impact on that. And then we're looking for a collaboration amongst the 3 Bloomington clubs and the city of Bloomington. So the other clubs are joining in as well. I think that for our club, we should easily be able to get 10 people in the team. And then however many of you would like to, if you live outside of the Bloomington area, Bloomington city limits, you can also join. And I did it yesterday. It didn't take me more than 5 or 10 minutes. The thing that I didn't have, and I have to go back and fill in, is you actually fill in your energy consumption per month, your electric bill per month. So that's the trickiest thing about it, is getting your electric bill and your usage over the last 12 months. But other than that, it's very simple. You answer questions, as much, something like how much garbage do you produce in a week, how much commuting or driving do you do in a week, etc. once you're in this team, what we'll be doing is coming up each month or every other month, a challenge for you in the program. And this doesn't cost anything unless you decide to make some sort of a drastic change in your own home. It doesn't cost anything to participate. It just increases awareness. Okay, go to the next slide. So we want to help the Rotarian households contribute to the city goals. And we want to establish committees and host monthly challenges. So we would ask you to get together with us once a month and talk about the challenges you've taken. And then we would really like our group to lead by example. And I know Carolyn has the concept or the idea that we would present this project at the district conference about how well that's going. Let's see, there's something else I wanted to say along that line. I think, okay, that's all. I had something else that I had in my mind, but it's not coming to me right now. So I believe on your tables, I'd asked Natalie to print off information about the project that you could take and, review. And if you find that you are interested in being a part of the project, I'd talk to you about this, Alon, but where would be the best place for us to gather those participants?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sending out an email this afternoon with the link to the flyer.
Yeah.
But also invite anybody who wants to participate to sign a quick form, just to fill out a quick form so that we can keep track of who in the club is participating in this initiative.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the majority of us will do
I
so.
was just going to say the one thing I wanted to mention is it's only going to be for 6 months. It's going to be from the 1st of January to July, I think. So, it's kind of a easy enough thing to do to participate.
Fantastic. Good. Well, thank you. And Leslie, thank you so much for leading this project. Much, much, much appreciated. Yeah.
Happy to do it.
There's a question from Phil. Phil Eskew has a question. And I'll repeat it here. Oh. Great. He's saying that his daughter just came back from the COP conference, and she might be interested to participate in the project as well. We'll probably
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't have to be just Rotarians. I mean, your family members could join, but it would be nice if you could join the Rotarian community group, if you will.
So speak to Kelly and ask to lead us on that. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Leslie, once again, much appreciated. Okay, so I'm definitely intending to do it. I hope that you all do. I'll send out an email this afternoon, and we'll move on from that. And this connects very nicely with a lot of what Sally and I experienced when we were in Palo Alto. I think that Palo Alto is trying to get carbon neutral by 35. It's already carbon neutral for 4 years. Wow, that's incredible. That's totally amazing. All the Teslas in town, yeah. There was something else for 35, but I can't remember what it was. I think it was maybe clean energy by 35 or something. But wouldn't it be fantastic if Bloomington got to carbon neutral before 2050? I think it's definitely something that we could potentially do then. So imagining our future, we've done some incredible projects this year already. And we came into the year knowing that this is our Imagine Rotary year, where we can truly think about what we're doing in a way that opens up possibility and potential to move in directions that we choose to go that we've not yet gone before. It's taken me a while, personally, honestly, to get to the point where I even understand how to run this club, how to be part of this club in a way that I can take the mantle of responsibility that I have. And just witnessing the range of things that we've been doing as a club has been awe-inspiring for me. So I just want to quickly go through some of what they are. The district grant, the farm school project, absolutely amazing, as we all know about it. And I'm not going to spend much time describing any of these. Oktoberfest was a joyous occasion in so many different ways. Pete Ellis Drive Trash Pickup, which I've now done a number of times. The Rotary Toast, the impact on Bloomington that the Rotary Toast has. The Palo Alto Sibling City Exchange, which in many different ways and different levels and different layers has the potential to propel us in new directions with new friends and new frontiers that we have yet to imagine. The Refugee Project, what an extraordinary project that is. Teachers Warehouse, which we continue to support, which had its origins in this club. The ringing of the bells, connecting to community, the holiday party. And then moving into the new year, we have our Hoosier Hills Food Bank project happening with Liz Feitel leading, the Global Grant Scholarship, which we will support Megan Gerhardt this year, Jim Bright being such a significant figure in that whole thing, in that project. The Rotary Speech Contest, Tim Jessen's going to be leading that. The Rotary Youth Scholarships that Amy Osaji was going to be leading. And then hopefully a youth conference that we're connecting with the district on, which will culminate in, I think we're going to be doing it in tandem with the district conference in April, I believe it is. So there's just an array, and this is not everything that we've been doing by any means, because we just do so much in our own personal lives, but it is truly astounding how much we do. And yet we haven't yet spoken about what we're going to be doing in terms of reimagining our club. And so today, I'm going to suggest that we spend a little bit of time doing that. And as a way of teeing that up, I want to mention one more thing, and that is that membership of our club this year and also last year has exploded. We have 18 new members. I was just counting Vivian Bridges, Donald Capuch, Greer Carson, Sarah Cochran, Mary Getzi. We've got the Boys and Girls Club, Emily Hannon, Tracy Jovanovic, who's with us today, Erica Kovacs, Molly Otto, James Wolf, and then we have 4 new members that we're going to be inducting very soon. Michelle Cohen, who we all know, it's been a bit of a while, and she's going to be finally joining us. Steve, is it Wicks? Wicks, Steve Wicks, Tim Riffle, and Spud Washington, as well as the City of Bloomington. And the City of Bloomington members will be Alex Crowley, Holly Warren, who's Assistant Director for the Arts, Lauren Clements, who's Assistant Director for Sustainability, and Andrea De La Rosa, who's Assistant Director for Small Business. So I guess what I'm suggesting by all of this is that really over the past 2 years, we've already gone through a transformation of who we are and how we function as a club, with all of these new amazing members joining our ranks. We're very close to a quarter of the club having turned over in the last 2 years. So what does that mean in terms of what we really want to be doing with each other? I'm going to give you, I see we've got the slide up here in front of us as well. Thank you very much, Tyler. Just go back to it. I want to just quickly mention how it looks. So we have our active members of 112 right now. Soon there will be another 4. We have our honorary members, and then we have the organization members. So in total, we have, if I'm counting right, there are 136 members of our club currently connected to our organization. So as we then move into imagining what might be possible, I'm going to be showing you a little bit of a eye candy in front of you, which you get to participate in. And this is something which I'm inviting everybody online to do as well. So anybody on Zoom, as you can see in front of your screen, there's a QR code. And for those of you who are in the room here, there's a QR code on your table as well if you can't get as far as the screen. So you can use the QR code. And I'm going to invite you, there are 2 questions that I have for you. All of you know what a SWOT analysis, right? It's basically a strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Well, today we're going to be doing a SO analysis, which is just strengths and opportunities. It's my word for an abbreviated version of the SWOT analysis. But don't worry, I will be sending you a link this afternoon that actually takes you to those 4 sections: the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I would love to have all of you participate in ideas within those 4 categories. I will assemble the results of the survey, and then in a week or 2, I will be sharing it with you as well. But for today, and this is just at the beginning as we start imagining what our future might be, as we imagine Rotary, I'm going to invite you all to go ahead and just use the QR code. And so now let's move to Mentimeters. So go ahead, and I'm going to ask the very first question. The very first question is, I believe it's about opportunities. It's about to be shown on the screen. So all of you online, go ahead and hopefully you were able to grab that URL. And if you can't, just let us know and then we'll share it with you once again. So we have a Mentimeter website that's going to be shown in about 2 seconds. Drum roll, please. There we go. Look at this. What are the strengths as a club? These are words that have just been put in by you over the last 5 or 10 seconds. And we can just watch it grow as everybody puts in their words. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Strengths of our club. We're diverse. I love that. Natalie. Natalie's name comes up. Yeah, I agree completely. Gratitude, volunteerism, involvement in programs, compassion, fun. Fun is in the middle. Fun is used more than others. Service. Okay. Let's see here. Excellent programs, friendliness, community. Who wrote community? Tracy. I'm going to ask you, actually, in your role as our video microphone person, do you want to quickly grab it and then we're going to ask some questions here? So these are the strengths of our club, and I'd love to have a few of you just talk about it. Who'd like to talk about the people of the club? Who said people? Okay, Katie. So Tracy's going to come. Maybe you can just start talking about it here and I'll mention what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, what is it about people?
To our own communities outside of this group, and we bring those connections in to support both the work of the organization, the club, and also all the individuals within it. So
Right.
the people for me is part of why I joined and definitely why I stay.
And the people is who we were and who we are and who we will be.
Correct. Yeah.
So take us, there's a wonderful through line of this incredible club that's been around for more than 100 years, and the people have made it be what it is.
Absolutely.
Right. Great. Fantastic. What about fellowship? Who'd like to talk about fellowship? Who mentioned fellowship here? Okay, Liz. And by the way, if anybody online would like to mention, just go ahead and open up your microphone because we can't see you. We definitely want you to participate.
So I think that being able to come and have a conversation with folks that you don't normally see every day or whatever is just really important outside of your regular spheres of circles. And so I think that that fellowship is just another way to interact with folks that you might not interact with in many other capacities. So I think I appreciate this fellowship because of that. And it's not just this club. So you have, you know, the districts, the projects we work on, whatever the fellowship entails, right? So it's all connected.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see that Aaron Davis put in mentoring. You put that into the chat. So Aaron, would you like to open up your microphone and talk about mentoring? Not to put you on the spot, just if you're available.
Well, sure. It's such an important aspect of what we do. And some of that is through leadership and, you know, the lunch buddies in a way is a way to help to break down some of the formality and just, you know, open up and be kind to people and share our very, very, you know, diverse and, you know, backgrounds in so many ways, professional and personal.
Thank you, and thanks, Aaron. When you mentioned mentoring, I immediately went through the years that I've known you and how committed you've been to mentoring people around you who you believe are capable of stepping up to the plate and functioning within the organization as leaders. Myself being one of them, and I really appreciate everything that you've done for me over the years to make it possible for me to manage my way into this role. So thank you for your mentorship. Let's talk about, there was one more that I wanted, well, is there a word that anybody would like to talk about? Community. Charlotte, would you like to talk about community? She always talks about community.
It's a way to continue connections with people all over the place and because we're so diverse in what we do and where we came from. We help create community in Bloomington, and that's really important.
Helping create community in Bloomington, right? Absolutely. And what's incredible about creating community within the Rotary Club is that we are non-religious and non-political, and yet we have such a foundation in values that propel a sense of welcoming, a sense of diversity, a sense of inclusion, and a sense of purpose. That's what you meant. And seriously, that is why I'm sure that most of us are part of Rotary, is the sense of that there's a sense of purpose, there's a sense of character in Rotary that helps build community around those 5 values that we hold so dear to us. Great. Okay. Should we do one more? Just one more, and then we're going to move on to the next question. Yeah. Over there. Judy Wood has some ideas.
I'm really going to lump 3 of them together: the foundation, international, and polio. The foundation is one of the foundations of Rotary, and without it, there's much that we would struggle, I think, internationally to complete. The reason I joined Rotary particularly was due to polio. My family's home was hit by polio when I was 9. And without support from Rotarians, it would have been very difficult for me to end up walking today.
Wow. That's amazing, Judy. Thank you for telling us that. Thank you for letting us know. I'm going to be keeping this. This is now a record of our club's ideas, because it becomes an image that we can save, download, and share. And so let's move on to the next question. We have one more question here, and that is, what are our opportunities? And so I'm going to invite you all to go ahead and use your iPhones once again, and just imagine anything might be possible within our organization, and how could those be driven through the opportunities that are in front of us. So what are the opportunities that we have as a club moving forward into our future? And the words will pop up as we write them, or the sentences. Let's see, is it working? I'm still waiting to see if it's going to come up on the, there we go. Wow, look at that. Networking, our opportunities. Improvement in society. And by all means, go ahead and if you've got some other ideas as we move along, go ahead and just add them in, because it'll keep including those words. So our opportunities are to have impact, growth, civility, focusing on diversity and service, global solidarity. I like that one. I want to hear about that. Wow, look at this. End polio. Membership growth, relationships, inclusion of youth, something that I think we should definitely spend as much time as we can on. Leadership training. Okay, well, let's start with improvement in society. Let's start with global solidarity. Who wrote that one? I'd love to hear more about global. Okay, here we go, Katie. Katie Beck, our future president of the club. Yeah.
So I was thinking about the way that because of the international nature of Rotary, that it actually connects us as like a globe full of people who all have similar ideals and are striving toward a society that has, I also put civic dialogue, that has the ability to speak with one another about different ideas for our mutual benefit as a society of humans moving forward on this planet, and those are, challenging conversations to have given our reality. And so I think that because Rotary is one of these very few international organizations with a long established history, it puts us in a unique opportunity to actually move the dial on some of these issues that really connect us as a species, more so than institutions that are tied to a specific nation or a specific political structure. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, that's great, and obviously that speaks to my heart in terms of. I often think that people separate this idea of local and global. And I think that we are now moving into a connected world in which global is local. And it's possible that Rotary can make that human and meaningful in a way that is based on the values that we have. And so as a club, perhaps that's one of the things that we could be thinking about is how do we harness the impressiveness of Rotary International, what it does, how it's evolved. I mean, if you think of how it's evolved since the 1970s to what it is today, where I walk into an international conference and there are 400 Ghanaians, where the fastest growing set of Rotary clubs in the world is in the middle of India, where we are automatically connected to a global community as we live our local lives here in Bloomington. And perhaps we can do more of that intentionally as a club, thinking, yes, to continue all these global projects that we've traditionally had, but how can we reimagine what it is to speak to our global connectedness as we continue to work within the Bloomington community? And Charlotte, you have an idea related to that? Yeah.
Linking in our discussions here and with each other, linking the local with the global
Right.
interest. Because the other day somebody said, why bother doing something local about environment because it won't matter. I think that we have to
Right.
show that it matters.
Right. And that it's all so interconnected and it goes both ways. So maybe that's one of the areas that as a club we could be reimagining what we do. Not that we haven't already done it, but perhaps we could lean into it just a little bit more. Anything else that springs to mind here that somebody would like to talk about that you think could be part of? Phil, go ahead.
I know you're tired of hearing of all this, but I really believe we're the only club in the state of Indiana that doesn't recite the pledge to start our meetings. We could add that to this. Many of us have military people in our backgrounds. I've served 27 years. I believe we should start our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. We are Americans.
Right. Okay, good. Thank you very much. And when I, as president, if that's an issue that we want to be able to re-engage with, I would be happy to do so. And I know that there's thankfully, we celebrate diversity in this club and we celebrate a diverse set of opinions about it as well. And so I'm deeply respectful of that opinion. And I think that we need to rely on processes within our club that we know to be the way through these disagreements, these opinions which some people feel very strongly about in both directions. So I would be happy to re-engage that. And Phil, you've got my word on that. Okay, anything else that people would like to bring up that they feel strongly about or that they feel inspired by here? Let's see. Diversity. We've spoken about a lot about diversity. We've spoken a lot about youth. We've spoken about inclusion, global society relationships. Does anybody have an idea, sort of like a secret project that they've wanted to talk about, but they haven't yet had an opportunity to talk about in the Rotary Club? Something which would bring it all together in terms of what we might be able to do as a club. What about Lance? Has he been secretly thinking about things that we should be doing? What is your perspective these days on the district and how we are imagining and reimagining ourselves? Do you want to speak to that?
Well, I think as mentioned, I think the key is really kind of defining engagement and what that means as we kind of move forward. So as Rotary is kind of progressing forward, they're really looking to clubs to become a lot more engaged in the products, projects, engaged in their communities and engaged in diversity. So that's really kind of the direction, that Rotary International is going, is really becoming more impactful and more direct in the, in the projects that we do.
Yeah, and I know that youth is becoming a very significant part of your thought process right now as well. What is the youth, the Interact clubs? Can you tell us a little bit about how you are motivating the Interact clubs to build strength and tell us a little bit about what might be happening in.
Fortunately, they don't need a lot of encouragement. They have a lot of energy on their own. But I think the key, what we're trying to do as Rotary is kind of as we kind of grow within the family of Rotary. So we have a lot of Interact clubs that they're really engaged. They really have a lot of concerns, doing a lot of great projects in their community, and really how to kind of mentor them along that. So eventually that they do grow up to become Rotarians and such. And that is the great news about the district. The Interact Club seem to be growing like crazy right
Right.
now, which is fantastic to
And-
see.
And you're making me remember how much Joy Harder is doing in this club right now,
Yeah.
and how she continues to be so passionate and so connected to youth building as an extension of what we do as a club. So thank you very much.
Yeah, they are our future.
And then Phil.
I came from Carmel, and Carmel is in charge of the parade on the 4th of July. I think all three clubs could get involved in celebrating the July the 4th celebration
Uh-huh.
and do something for the community that would involve the high schools, the kids, and other
Maybe we
things.
could do it like
It's
a,
just a great opportunity to show what Rotary can do for the community.
Yep, I love that. And I love the idea of doing it together. The three clubs, the Rotaract Club, as well as the Interact clubs, that would be great. Mike, I'll give you the final word.
Does our club financially support the interactors here locally?
In the annual budget, there's, I believe, $200 that we have available for them. And then we also have money available for the Rotaract Club. So we're actively supporting both. And we're hoping to have one of our meetings actually led by both, well, Rotaract certainly, and maybe even Interact this next month or so. Yeah. Good. Well, so this is just the very beginning. I think this is an incredibly inspiring visual in front of all of us. It's absolutely amazing. I love the idea of a July 4th focused project of some kind. I really, really love that idea. And that's something perhaps that we should be thinking about soon, so we can identify exactly what it is that we want to do and how we want to do it. This is just the very beginning of a conversation that I'm hoping to have with all of you. I'll be sending out the full SWOT analysis, the survey, so that you can basically write about what we've just spoken about, which is our strengths and opportunities, but also our weaknesses and threats, those things that you consider to be important for us to be thinking about. And then as we go through the next few months, I don't exactly know how this might happen, but I'd love for us to, and I'll be speaking to the board about this as well, to come up with a sort of a strategic plan, but not necessarily too detailed, but a framework that we can think about between ourselves about where we might be headed as an organization as we imagine our future. So that's basically the exercise that I'm very, very happy and grateful that we went through today. So thank you, and give yourselves a round of applause, because that was really great. And to all of those online as well, thank you so much for participating. As I mentioned, these images will be shared with you, so that hopefully they'll be an inspiration for what we think about as we go forward. And with that, I wanted to wish you all a very, very happy Thanksgiving. I cannot tell you how grateful I am to have joined this club 8 years ago, and how happy I am to be involved in shepherding it through this year. And just with great gratitude and pleasure, let us say the four-way test plus one. So of the thing we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
Third, will it build goodwill and better friendship?
and then will it be beneficial to all concerned? And then fifth, have fun, everybody. See you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much.